Can you beat every Geometry Dash level? It's easy. All you have to do is beat the main levels, then beat over 50,000 online levels. Don't worry, only 1,000 of them are extreme demons. Okay, that's impossible. While the best players are nowhere close to beating every level, what if I told you that long ago, someone actually did? This is a story about the rise and fall of the first top player, and how cheaters, impossible levels, and Robtop's mistakes turned Geometry Dash from fair to impossible for anyone to 100% complete again. Here we are in 2013. Geometry Dash has been out for a few months, but one issue: most people suck at this game. There's barely footage of people beating main levels, let alone most online featured levels, which were approved by the creator of Geometry Dash, Robtop. Oh, the new hardest level just came out. Let's see what people think.
This is impossible!
This is the worst level ever!
Curse you, Darnock!
Okay, seems that most people just dislike the hardest levels instead of playing them. Robtop realized that for civilization to advance, war was required. The new update 1.3 is the biggest one yet, and 2 new features are gonna change everything. Now there's an official demon difficulty for the hardest levels, and leaderboards for everyone to compete on Robtop approved levels. Over the next few days, dozens of old and new levels were rated. This system not only motivated creators to build more, it also rewarded players with stars for beating rated levels. With great power comes great responsibility, and Robtop was the only one with this rating power. In the future, he'll make some very bad, controversial decisions, but for now, things are fine. This is the first screenshot of the leaderboards, and now, the creators of those controversial difficult levels found themselves at the top. But just beating the main levels would have given you most of the stars that this #1 player has. No one was taking things seriously until DBT KDDN 9402, and he just hit 100 stars. Well, that was a long name. It's fine, he's important. DBT's a person who likes challenging games, and he loves being the best. But he's still not even good enough to beat a demon yet, so suddenly, 2 mysterious players gained hundreds of stars and destroyed him within 2 days. Yeah, DBT, it's gonna be a long way to the top. DBT wasn't sure if they were cheaters, but considering how fast these two were, it's possible that they were old players, whose completions of the past were finally being rewarded. By checking out their stars and demon counts, you can tell that no one has completed every rated level. The only screenshot I can't use this deduction on is this one, but Seungju never flexed beating every online level. You know who wanted to flex though? Yep, it's DBT who got revenge. He wants to beat every level in the game, and he's starting to become great.
When the leaderboard first came out and I tried Demon Park, it was really hard. But eventually, if you play it a lot, you'll clear it.
While others dislike these challenges, DBT is addicted to Geometry Dash. He's spending dozens of hours, and no one is close to his skill level. But every time he gets close to beating everything, Robtop rates even more levels, some of which are disliked and very difficult. DBT refused to let this stop him. He locked in, and finally, there's now only one level that remained. This is the hardest demon, BP Knight, a level so difficult that the creator hid a secret way so that he could skip the hard parts without anyone knowing. Robtop didn't realize this, and he got tricked into rating the level. You'd think it'd be too difficult for someone trying to beat it normally, but nah, who needs a secret way when you're DBT? Just 2 months ago, he couldn't even beat a demon, but now he's so great that he completed this level through the normal path. This was when DBT became a legend.
I finally completed all 118 rated maps. Now that I've completed them all, I have 666 stars.
Look at the stats. This game clearly has a new demon. Over the next month, DBT stayed on top of every rated level. If a new demon came out, no matter how difficult it was, he would defeat it. He's the first player to hit 700, 800, 900, and 1,000 stars. It's like Robtop can't rate levels fast enough to prevent DBT's takeover. On December 14, DBT briefly fell down to second to a guy who had thousands of hack stars, but he got reported to Robtop and banned. After beating all 212 rated levels, DBT had to take a week-long break. The only thing harder than keeping up with new levels is keeping up with homework. So while DBT was busy, Geometry Dash was about to have the craziest week yet. PZMC is an infamous creator who's quickly rising up the ranks. He took over and said, "I want to beat every rated level." And somehow, he was actually able to. Aside from just one level, this is Demon World, and it is evil. When it first released, DBT was able to beat it with relative ease, but shortly after that, the creator of the level updated it to make it way harder. He added tons of one-block ship gap timings and some of the first ever strafe fly. No one knows why he did this, and some people suspect Demon World of being the first level that was verified by someone using a cheat engine to slow the game down. There's no proof it was speed hacked, but there is this screenshot of the creator using an icon that's impossible to get before you hit 400 stars, so he definitely knew how to play God. Instantly, Demon World went from a forgettable easy demon to an absolute nightmare of timings and ship skill. Demon World. Is this something a human can do? No matter how carefully I control my ship, it doesn't work. I should have woken up before the update. Peas was close to completing his legendary journey, just like DBT did a few weeks ago. DBT beat a controversial difficult level. Surely he could too. But then, Christmas happened. It's a day of celebration for many, a happy holiday. But for Peas, it's his Day of the Dead. His account got inexplicably wiped of its stats. He was so close to being the second player to beat every GD level, but it was cruelly taken away. This dude held a funeral for his save file. Cause of death, battery outage on my phone during playthrough. Even leaderboard number 1 can be gone in a flash. My carelessness resulted in this. Beware of your phones dying. Even you can lose your data in an instant. This meant that going into 1.4, his rival PG 1004 was the number 1 player. PG actually beat every demon, but he's still dozens of levels away from 100%ing GD. DBT returned to GD, but his data was wiped. He panicked. Was he gonna become just like Peas? Nah, DBT made sure to regularly back up his game. He lost over 100 stars, but his most recent backup was good enough, so he climbed back to second place. Overall, 1.3 was a true competitive golden age of the leaderboards. No known cheaters had infiltrated the top ranks yet, and aside from data loss incidents, competition seemed relatively fair. But this was about to change. Robtop will soon make disastrous decisions that doomed DBT, destroying any chance of someone beating every level again. DBT was getting too busy to spend dozens of hours on GD, and over the time of 1.4, he started to fall on the leaderboards. But he wanted to redeem himself. He returned during 1.5, but what he saw was something unbelievable. Stereo Demoness by Majako, the new number 1 player. This was the most difficult level he had ever seen, and it was rated. Over the next few days, he would pour thousands of attempts into the seemingly impossible level.
I zoned out and died at the relatively easy part. I haven't made any progress. The ship parts are nearly impossible. There aren't that many fakes, but the timings are brutal. Plus the straight fly. Is this something a human can beat? It's been a while since I played this game. I guess I really am past my prime.
Some of us will always make more difficult levels. Some of us will always try to do the impossible, even if we need to cheat. After all, human greed is insatiable.
It's all way too much. How was a level 100 times harder than Demon World verified? Well, remember when I said Robtop made some big mistakes? There are 3 big reasons why 100%ing GD became impossible. Firstly, Geometry Dash was taken over by players who are 100% confirmed to have used cheat engines and exploits. For example, this is the Hell series. 4 levels that are so difficult that the easiest one is considered to be the first Extreme Demon. These were uploaded between 1.4 and 1.6, so why does the creator only use features from 1.2 and before? Well, Sohn used a practice mode exploit that tricked the game into thinking you completed a level. While Robtop fixed this in 1.3, you were still able to upload GD levels to the current server using an older version. Sohn's levels suspiciously avoided all of the new features. Despite this, it still took months for someone to expose him. He left way too many screenshots of evidence against him, like this screenshot where he's blatantly using the 1.2 editor. While Robtop took action on Sohn, trying to stop every cheater was like an impossible game of whack-a-mole. The cheaters continued popping from the ground. It's astonishing that DBT even got 25% on Stereo Demoness, considering this version of the level took until 2021, over 7 years later, to be completed legitimately. Majako was eventually defeated by Sari. But don't get too excited. Sari's also a cheater who accidentally uploaded an impossible level. He did this by hacking his save file to change this variable instead of beating the level. But that's not all. He claimed to beat the Hell Zone and the Hell World. It took until May of 2015 for someone to legitimately beat an extreme demon. So yeah, Sari was definitely a liar. Whether it be through glitches or speed hack to make your game slower, these extreme demons kept being uploaded and rated. There were so many cheaters that Robtop realistically couldn't tell who was legit. Even when the community became more developed and cheaters now had an expectation of posting video proof, there were still cheaters who regularly dominated the leaderboard. And other infamous cheaters were still able to smuggle a new hardest level into the rating system. But at least these levels were possible. What if I told you that over time, hundreds of rated levels would experience glitches that made them impossible? Back then, there was a terrible glitch where if your level was over 100 kilobytes in data, everything that you created after that point would be deleted upon being uploaded to the servers. If you ever wondered why some old levels have one weirdly placed object, or why some completion videos have parts that no longer exist, this is why. This especially sucks because it made 2 levels impossible. A rated demon called Confused hit 100 kilobytes after being updated. One of its blocks only had its coordinate data deleted, meaning it was teleported to 0, which made the level an inescapable death trap. What's worse is Neon Sign, a level innocently uploaded by its creator who didn't realize that some of the objects they placed in the last part would now be deleted, meaning you couldn't pass 98%. Robtop didn't realize this, and it was rated until 2017. While Update 1.5 fixed this bug, over this game's history, pretty much every time Robtop makes a slight update to the game's physics, something becomes impossible. Sometimes the creator fixes this, but sometimes they don't. And then Robtop either forgets about the level for years or unrates it, which is super unfair in my opinion. There are so many cases of this happening that I could make an entire 20-minute video just explaining it all. Subscribe if you want to see that. Sometimes the creators themselves update their levels to become impossible or extremely difficult, and Robtop usually unrates or reverses these eventually. But the weirdest level updates happened because of Anaban. He hacked into 2 rated levels and replaced them with 10,000 objects layered on top of each other. These levels became impossible to play for years. Nowadays, if you look hard enough, you might find an impossible rated level. But Robtop's new solution is to have the mod team make slight changes to keep the levels rate worthy. This had to happen because even the most recent update broke hundreds of levels. You also can't update old levels without the approval of an Elder mod. So while this solution has been pretty much fixed, the third mistake has not been. Dailies, weekly demons, and events are what's known as timed levels. They're separate copies of existing maps that give their own stars, which can only be played during a certain time. With daily levels, you usually can't wait more than 48 hours to beat one, because if you do, then you'll permanently miss one. I actually think these are cool systems that keep the community active and highlight underrated creators, but there's a major downside. Remember when I said they give their own stars? New players cannot rise to number 1 because those at the top have gotten thousands of daily stars that are now impossible to collect. If anything like this happened in the real world, that would be a very unfair society. No one in history has completed every timed level, especially because of Robtop's infamous April Fool's picks like Bloodlust, Bloodbath, Tartarus, and... I'd solve this by allowing players to use orbs to unlock past daily levels. It's a currency system used to buy icons, and you have millions more than you'll ever need by the time you get close to the top. This is the main issue with modern leaderboards. But even if hackers, glitches, and timed levels weren't a thing, GD would still be nearly impossible to 100% because there's just so many things you have to complete nowadays. By update 1.9, players had already started specializing as either a Star Grinder or Demon Slayer, rather than being able to do everything like the players of the past. We don't have infinite time. We're part of a war-torn, greedy civilization aimlessly floating on a rock that gets progressively hotter in space, with a limited time of often under 100 years to do what we can to make an impact in this world. And we have to pay the bills, so yeah. The best Demon Slayer, Zoink, hasn't beaten the top 150, let alone the top 50,000. And the number 1 player, Mr. Spaghetti, has beaten every level that's not an extreme demon, but he's still missing over 1,000 of them. And he isn't close to beating every platformer, which is a new category containing thousands of levels that require a whole different skill set. You have to beat these if you truly want to complete everything. I know that I've been critical of Robtop this whole video. He's a human who's allowed to make mistakes like everyone else, and trust me, if he wasn't otherwise one of the greatest game developers of all time, GD would suck. But he's so smart it made me wonder, what if Robtop wanted GD to be impossible? When GD released, there were only 7 levels, all made by and completed by Robtop, meaning he was technically the first person to 100% GD. What if he wanted to make sure he was the only person to ever do this? No, God has betrayed us! Run for your life! Because of this, DBT is like GD's version of a mythical legend. Despite being the first top player, his history is so early and hard to find that most people don't know that he's the only player to ever beat every rated level. But what if I told you that he would make a final return that would change Geometry Dash forever? The year is 2025. DBT has barely played GD or talked to the community in over 10 years. Because he has a job now. Suddenly, he was contacted by a group of GD historians that I'm a part of, known as the Restoration Union. We seek to find every piece of GD history, whether it be a lost level or deleted comments. If DBT somehow had a backup of his old save file, it would be the greatest discovery of all time. You see, in the early updates of GD, the game stored every level downloaded on your device until you deleted them. This could cause GD to take up a ton of space. Starting in 1.5, Robtop would lower the amount of levels you could save to 51. And nowadays it's 20. While this was a sensible move from a game design perspective, it was absolutely disastrous for the history of GD. There are so many lost levels that we'd have today if this feature wasn't implemented. But this also meant something. Whoever had a backup of their save file before 1.5 was sitting on a gold mine. And guess who decided to keep all of their backups from the past because of data corruption? Yeah, it's the GOAT, DBT, so you can bet this save file was massive. There are several lost levels and versions that would have been totally lost to time if they hadn't been saved by DBT 12 years ago. No one even knew what Demon World's easier version looked like until this discovery. And the only reason I know DBT completed BP Night the normal way is because he gave us all of his GD screenshots and gave me a text interview. Little did DBT know that his journey to beat every level would also save every level from disappearance.
Confused! KSO! Oh my god! EPEP! EPEP!
It's playable.
We have it. I forgot Forest.
Oh my god!
I actually have it.
I'm glad that my backups help restore levels. It's amazing, and I'm grateful that there's still people who remember me.
It may not be possible to beat every level nowadays, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to make history. Most people consider verifying a new hardest level to be way harder than anything these old leaderboard players had to do. And hey, if you want to make history in your own way, who knows? Maybe if you do something cool enough, there will still be people like me talking about it. And even after 100 years, your story will live on.